He writes, Asur livael. A person should not get scared. What's the right word for livael? To get overwhelmed, to get, intimidated. He says, Asur livael minachet. Don't get overwhelmed from sin. Velefached, and to get scared, mimatzav shenefila, from a situation where a person is going down in spirituality. Meaning, he was screaming, do not get overwhelmed from sin, do not get intimidated because a person sinned, and do not get scared because you fell. What should a person be scared from? Rak me'ayush tzarich lizael. What you should be scared of is giving up. Once a person makes it okay not to want to grow, or at least make believe he cares, that's the greatest danger for a person. This is a very, very important machshava. What does the Yetzer Hara want from a person? He wants to make a person tell himself, I tried so many years Yom Kippur to do teshuvah. I told myself so many years, Hashem, I want to get close to you. Who am I fooling? Who am I lying to? Enough. I'm not playing this game anymore. That's what the Yetzer Hara wants. He wants a person to come to a conclusion and be okay with a situation where he's down. What does the Yetzer Hara Tov want? What does Hashem want from a person? Be scared from falling down and being okay with it, but don't be overwhelmed and don't be scared from sin. A person fell, okay, what's our job? To try again and again to get up. If Shali Pol Elef Pe'amim V'adayin Ishal Tzaddik, you can have a person that's a tzaddik, even though he fell 1,000 times. And he says you can have a rasha that only fell a few times with sin, but because he stayed low and he didn't try to grow, he already became a rasha. Listen to this line. You can have a tzaddik that fell 1,000 times with sin, but because he tries to get up again and again, and he's not okay with the situation, he always wants to be close to Hashem. To Hashem, that's a tzaddik. Every Yom Kippurim he tries, that's a tzaddik. But a person who only sinned a few times, but he's okay with that sin, and he doesn't try to grow, says Rabbi Yaakov, that's considered a rasha. A person who doesn't try to grow, that's a rasha. A person who wants to grow, that's considered a tzaddik. A person should be scared of yi'ush. A person should not get overwhelmed from sin. The mashal they give for this, my grandfather was in all the wars, Yosef Bach, was in all the Israeli wars. So one of the stories that he told me was when Israel took over the Golan Heights, at the Golan, I think it was 1967, I think it was that war. So he was telling me how one of his friends, his battalion, was ambushed by the Syrians at the time. And people were shooting left and right. So his battalion, all his soldiers, Miskinim, all the Jewish soldiers were dying. They were falling like flies. And his friend, the soldier, told my grandfather at the time that he had a certain sense of yi'ush. He had a certain sense of giving up because he thought he's dying any second. So what did he do? He laid on the floor and he decided he's going to make believe he's dead. So the Arabs are coming in, shooting and shooting and shooting. The battalion is basically dead. He feels he's next. He's laying there and he gave himself a feeling of yi'ush, and he said that he can't explain that feeling of giving up, but it was a real feeling of really giving up on life. And he laid it to make believe as if he's dead. But then he thought to himself, if they come closer, they're for sure killing me because they were shooting bodies anyways. Now I have one chance to run away. I have one small chance. He said he got a certain type of gevurah, a certain type of courage. He got up and he ran forward for his life. The guy ran and ran and ran, and they're shooting, and Baruch Hashem, he survived it to say over the story. How he gave up hope, all his friends died, but then he told himself, wait a minute, why am I giving up? If I'm giving up, I'm for sure dead. At least let me try to run. And he got up, he had gevurah, and he ran for it. And Baruch Hashem, he survived and he lived. The mashal Rabotai is sometimes the Yetzer Hara shoots a person down. The Yetzer Hara overwhelms a person with averot, overwhelms a person with yi'ush. Give up, it's not going to happen. Another Yom Kippur. How much are you trying? How much can a person try? And the Yetzer Hara is shooting and shooting and shooting. That's what the Yetzer Hara wants. The Yetzer Hara wants a person to say, I'm out, I give up. How much can I try? And just lay on the floor. Give up hope. What is the Yetzer Hara? What does Hashem want? Hashem wants teshuvah. What's teshuvah? Courage. Gvura. That no matter what happened in the past, Get up and run for your life. You're alive. Hashem gave you life. You have another day. Run. Grab all the potential that Hashem gave you. Grab the life that Hashem gave you and do teshuvah. Try again to take something upon yourself. Another Kabbalah, but run. Don't let the Yetzer Hara pull you down and always make you look back. Be like that soldier. Get up and just keep on moving forward. Look straight and move. No matter what happened in the past, right now your job is to keep on running and building more mitzvot and more Torah. That's teshuvah. Teshuvah is running forward and getting closer and closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to share with you, Rabotai, a quick story. Right now we're holding right before Yom Kippurim. One of the main things that Hashem is looking for is for a person to be a Rahman, merciful, for a person to be Mochel, for a person to be Mevatel, to give in. In fact, Chazal tell us, the Chafetz Chaim brings down many times. Chafetz Chaim says we go into Yom Kippurim or Rosh Hashanah, Setimet Teshuvah, and we say, Avinu Malkeinu, Hashem, please make sure that the bad malachim in Shamayim that are advocating bad gezerot on a person, Hashem, please don't listen to them. Please close their mouth so they can't advocate against a person. Every person has good malachim and bad malachim. The bad malachim are advocating against the person to Hashem. They tell Hashem, this guy wants a good year. Did you see how he prays Shachrit? How do you guys say, Hekke, Kacha, Hajj? You see how this guy learns Torah? Guy barely learns, he falls asleep on his phone the whole time. This guy keeps kosher. He knows that kosher. You want to give this guy a good year? You see how he treats his wife? Did you see this guy? See how he talks to his children? You see how he drives his car? You see, whoa. The bad malachim start talking. And Hashem is listening, and he's listening. Then come the good malachim from the mitzvot and say, Hashem, poor guy. Look at the generation he lives in. He lives next to all the goyim. Everybody is crazy. Everyone is nuts. The whole world is crazy. The guy is still religious. He keeps Shabbat. He tries his best. He learns Torah. He keeps kosher, even though there's so many not kosher restaurants around. He prays. He tries his best to daven, even though his friends are not. He watches his Hashem. The guy is a tzaddik, and Hashem is listening, and Hashem is listening. That's what's happening as we speak. That's a Seret Yimei Teshuvah. Says the Chafetz Chaim, when does Hashem close the mouth of the bad malachim? When does Hashem tell those malachim, shh, I don't want to hear you? Says the Chafetz Chaim, when a person closes his mouth, not to speak negative about his friends and no lashon hara. When a person takes upon himself not to speak lashon hara, that's when Hashem tells those bad malachim, shh, I don't want to hear anything negative about that person. No bad gezerot from that person. That's what the Chafetz Chaim says. He brings that in a few times. So what does a person do before Yom Kippurim? One of the first things a person should take upon themselves is no more lashon hara. I'm going to try my best this year to close my mouth more, not to speak negative of one another. When a person goes to court, you need a good lawyer. You have to hire a good lawyer that costs a lot of money, that knows how to manipulate things and lie good and do all that shtick. You need a good lawyer. Going into Yom Kippurim, says the Chafetz Chaim, what's the best lawyer you can get? Best lawyer that can advocate for you in Shamayim, says the Chafetz Chaim, is a person who takes upon himself. And if you want, I can read you to Lashon. I don't have too much time, but I can read you the words of the Chafetz Chaim in Shmir Lashon. He says the best lawyer is for a person to go to Yom Kippurim, entering Yom Kippur, telling Hashem, this year I'm going to try my best not to talk Lashon Hara. I'm going to reduce the amount of Lashon Hara. And I'll prove it to you. I'm going to start learning the Sefer Chafetz Chaim Shmirat Lashon every single day. Because a person who learns it daily will be reminded not to speak Lashon Hara. And the less Lashon Hara a person speaks, the more Hashem closes the mouth of those bad malachim. Midah keneged midah, says the Chafetz Chaim. So what should a person take upon himself? To enter Yom Kippurim, taking upon ourselves to reduce the amount of Lashon Hara. How do you reduce the amount of Lashon Hara? Learning the book Chafetz Chaim Shmirat Lashon will help a person a lot to reduce the amount of Lashon Hara. After the lecture, before I forget, Baruch Hashem, we have sponsors to give out free Chafetz Chaim books. Whoever is ready to take upon himself to finish the book at least once.